Croatia stifled, choked, and almost squeezed the life out of Brazil in the match. In a match which a lot of people felt they lost controversially. You have to think. You have to wonder how Cameroon is going to survive what is going to be a particularly fired up Croatia national team. But I'm just thinking, like when you said, Cameroon have too many players. They are their own biggest enemies.
Yes.
And if you didn't name the players, well, let me name them. The Cameroon squad is split between two players, Alexander Song and Samuel Eto'o. And I was speaking to a Cameroonian journalist a few weeks back. He said the truth is many of these players are too big for their boots. They feel that because they play in Europe, they earn vast amounts of money.
Yes.
That they are not, they can't talk. That no one can speak to them, and they are not disciplined.
Just too much baggage.
And that is what Volker Finca tried to do. That's why they brought in an older, more experienced coach who would try and see if he could man. They need more of a man manager than an actual tactician. And frankly, it's still not working. And when you said, I think they have to wipe the slate clean and start all over again.
Well, I'll probably let some of this generation go, and maybe some do away with political interference, because you've always had issues of maybe the president saying this guy must be included in the squad, and all the other issues. But let's, before we go to Spain, that's the talking point for today. Let's talk about the Socceroos of Australia. Let me start with you. Today, you saw the game. Australia, at some point we thought they were going to win the game. It was a very good performance, but sadly, they're going to be the first team out of this tournament.
At no point did I think they were going to win the game. Let me be candid with you. At no point. Yes, they scored. They went ahead through a Mele Jedinak penalty. Before that, they had equalized through. I think a goal that is at par right now with the goal of the tournament by Robin Van Persie. I think that was a fantastic strike by Tim Cahill. But after you have to believe that whether they like it or not, they say yes, there are no minnows in world football, but there are some teams that their quality will always shine through.
Will show
they will always
at the vital moments.
While everybody have while every team has 4 gears, they have 5, even 6 in some cases. Okay. And when they put it in those overdrive 5 and 6, nobody can catch them.
It was just
a matter of whether this is a Dutch team that totally dismantled, disunited, defenestrated, decimated, annihilated the Spanish team. Obviously, you didn't expect Australia to. Yes, they proved a bit harder to crack, but it was always going to be a case of when, not if.
Okay.
The Netherlands are going to break them down. So Australia, keeping with their tradition, they're out after the first round again. So they just go back and reboot. But It's good for them that they now are in the Asian qualifying zone, because it gives them a stiffer test. They won't cruise through like they did in Oceania.
And so far when they come
back in 2018, let's see if we can improve their results.
Oh yeah, let me come to you. It doesn't sound to me like maybe today was fair, and some will say it was a spirited performance by the Socceroos, and it didn't look like a one-way traffic to me. I don't know, but what can you say about the performance of the Australians today?
Yeah. On a lighter note, we observed here that they were the first to arrive Brazil. Out of the 32 teams, perhaps they knew that they would be the first to crash out.
Okay.
In terms of personnel, you don't really give the Socceroos of Australia
too much of a chance.
Apart from Tim Cahill, like Tunde said, only 8 teams have won the World Cup, and it's likely going to repeat within these 8 teams. Maybe Belgium, from the kind of quality,
outside chances,
but it still is the 8 teams because of the sort of what they have proved. Apart from Spain that has followed the way of France, after France 98, they got to 2002, Senegal beat them in the opening game, and they crashed out. So, it is in line with tradition. So, I didn't expect that the Australians would get this far.
Okay.
Even though, when you look at their statistics with the team they played today, the Dutch team, they have not won in the last 3 games, and that gave the Dutch some form of concern. But the records are there to be broken.
Okay.
This is a present, and the best team has won.
Okay. Let's go to that game that's it's going on right now. Sunday, I don't know, what can you say? Did you see this? Only a brave man would have predicted this. Only a brave man would expect that Chile would be leading.
If that is the case, I'm a brave man.
You didn't see this coming?
I absolutely saw it coming.
Well, I did it.
Because of the shambolic performance of the Spanish team in their first game.
You still would expect them to be 2 goals down.
Absolutely. Look, if a man as experienced as Vicente Del Bosque continues to insist to play Anike Casillas, who is way past his sell-by date in goal, you expect that at some point in time they will come under pressure. Look, if you're a team and you know that you have a liability in goal, a follow
Doesn't inspire
as we like to say in Yoruba language.
It doesn't inspire confidence.
It doesn't inspire confidence because you know that once your opponents break past the halfway line, you are in trouble. So it was always a matter of when he was going to make those particularly, costly mistakes. And he made it for the second goal, punching a ball back into the box, not outside. The clearance was particularly poor. Very team effort, and he buried it. And the last time, let me tell you, the last time that these two teams played was a friendly match in Spain. Chile nearly won that match. It needed a 90th minute goal by Jesus Navas for them to actually salvage a draw. And it's in keeping with what I've expected. This Chilean team, the way they went about dismantling Australia in their first game was no surprise. And a lot of people have figured them as the dark horses for probably to get as far as the semi-final in this competition. So I'm not surprised. They have quality players. Arturo Vidal is still playing at probably 75% capacity, not 100%, and yet he's still churning out
giving his best.
Eduardo Vargas, former South American Footballer of the Year, Alexis Sanchez, Mauricio Isla, Gary Medel. We're talking about particularly, well-tested, experienced players.
Okay. All right. That's tomorrow's fixtures. But I'm going to quickly ask Onyenwuchi. 55 minutes. It's two goals against Spain. Do you see anything changing in this one?
The Spaniards have an uphill task. They are demoralized. They are crestfallen. They are downcast. From the way David Silva was shaking his head after the first half, he sent the message across. And what today has said is the fact. You see, only Del Bosque, had confidence in this team. Xavi has reached the twilight of his career, and he used to be the master passer of the team. This last season for Barcelona, he was nowhere. These guys are just using big names to play football. And Iniesta, who also used to, be the creative player, is not playing up to his full potential.
Them,
so the PK is like Joseph Yobo in our team. Okay. He has lost it. He cannot defend any longer. Right. And that's why they brought in Javi Martinez.
He's distracted. Maybe he's distracted. When you have
let's
superstar wife there, it's very difficult to focus on football.
Today, let's not go off. Tomorrow's fixtures, what you have on screen. It's going to be very interesting. One of our African brothers will take to the field. Colombia will take on Cote d'Ivoire. Uruguay will take on England. I think this is the pick of the pack for tomorrow. And of course, Japan will take on Greece.
Once again, I have to disagree. I think the pick of the pack is actually Colombia Cote d'Ivoire. That is a particular
decider.
That is a particularly exciting game to watch. Forget whatever you hear about England, Uruguay.
The football world will be waiting.
It is because it is the British press that is pushing it to the forefront. Let me be candid with you. It is Uruguay, a team who has lost playing against England, another team that has lost. It is no big deal. But if you look at the Ivorian team that dug very deep,
the weight of expectation is more on those two other teams than Cote d'Ivoire and Colombia.
I disagree. Colombia are one of the form teams coming into this competition. Cote d'Ivoire have been consistently ranked as the highest African team over the years, if not for the fact that they lost it on to Algeria this month. So those are two of the biggest teams in their own confederations playing each other. So I think that's a particularly fabulous game.
By your ratings?
By my ratings.
Okay, that's the most important game tomorrow. All right, okay. Let's see how England is preparing for that game. Today doesn't agree that that's the biggest game tomorrow. But let's listen to the players, the key figures on both sides, and we'll come back for more on Sports Tonight.
Get the best out of the team, and to do that you get the best out of individuals. We saw lots of glimpses from Raheem the other day what he can do attacking play, and Wayne, I think if you take Wayne's name away and you look at his performance and the work rate and the ball he put in for the goal, people might look at it differently. I think we are dwelling on something here that we don't maybe need to look for. I think it's about a team performance. We didn't win the other night, but the minute we start trying to focus on individuals again and again and again, I think it can become a bit detrimental. In the squad, behind closed doors, I think we're all looking at trying to win games. There is no solution with Luis Suarez. The solution is to defend as well as you can. I don't think with a player of his quality, level of quality, can you decide he can score against this team or that team or different defenders. I just think that's probably just looking too much into the numbers. I think he's a great player. So is Cavani. I think we have to look at both of those if they play. Plus the other attacking players they have in their team, and we don't have to analyse it too much. We just need to work hard on the match.
It's up to the manager to decide at the end of the day, but that's my normal position out on the wing. So if his vision and his passing abilities and my running abilities, that could be a really good thing. But as I said, it's down to the manager at the end of the day.